Let's get ready to roll. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's 6 o'clock and time for us to begin our meeting. Let me welcome all of you to the Commission chambers. Let me mention this also, that at the front, by the little fence there are copies of tonight's agenda. If you'd like to have one of those, just come up and grab one there, please. I'm going to ask a member of one of our boards, Wayne Robinson, if you'll come, please. And yeah, that's what I've got here. Who will give our invocation.
Bow your heads, please. First, we want to thank God for another day, a day that we'll see and a day we'll never see again. We want to thank Him for life, health, and strength. And we want to thank Him for our mayor and the 4 commissioners that's made it back for 2 more years. We just want to say thank you, because God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. We want to thank Him in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wayne, and for your service on the board. We're honored to have a local U.S. Armed Forces veteran with us tonight to lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Lawrence Lee served nearly 10 years combined in the United States Army. His active duty service took him from Fort Sill, Oklahoma to Fort Benning, Georgia for paratrooper school, then to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, now called Fort Liberty, where he served in 3 units in the 18th Airborne Corps Artillery. He was briefly designated as inactive reserve for 2 years before becoming an active reservist until 2002. Mr. Lee currently lives in Richmond, where he completed his Master in Public Health degree at EKU this past spring. Thank you, Lawrence, for leading us tonight in our pledge. If you will come, please proceed.
You all join me, please. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lawrence. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Brewer.
Here.
Commissioner Cole.
Here.
Commissioner Goebel.
Here.
Commissioner Newby.
Here.
Mayor Blythe.
Here, thank you. All right, we're going to move along, and if the business that was to be recognized tonight shows up a little later, we will pause to have Carrie to come and recognize that business. We have in our packets minutes from the regular meeting, October 22, 6 p., special call, October 23, 3:30 p., and the special call, October 24th, 3:30 p. If you had a chance to review those, may we have a motion, please, and we'll accept the minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Goebel. Is there any discussion, correction? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole.
Yes.
Commissioner Goebel.
Yes.
Commissioner Newby.
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-162, an order of the City of Richmond promoting an employee in the fire department to captain. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has an opening in the fire department, and whereas an employee has successfully completed the promotional process, which has consisted of an oral interview conducted by a selection panel, evaluated on their abilities, education, training, and leadership in the department, and whereas the Fire Chief Brooks Elder has recommended the promotion, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following fire department employee shall be promoted from firefighter 3 to the rank of captain, effective payroll December 13th, at the pay rate of fiscal year 24-25 fire pay scale, pay grade 6, Seth Johnson. Original hire date for firefighter 1 was in 2018. He was promoted to firefighter 2 in 2019, promoted as firefighter 3 in 2023. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is Order 24-162. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. We're going to pause here and ask Chief Brooks Elder to come and to lead us in the pinning ceremony in accord with that order.
Yes, thanks. Captain Johnson, if you and your wife would like to come forward for the pinning ceremony? If y'all want to step right in front of here. Just go right to the middle. The pinning ceremony is kind of you can go ahead and start pinning. It's kind of a long-standing tradition and kind of reflects having a family member pin new pins on, and you're taking on new responsibility and accepting the rank. So I want to congratulate Captain Johnson on his new role. He's been with the fire department for 6.5 years now. So.
Excellent. Ordinance 24-24, an ordinance of the City of Richmond amending Ordinance 24-02, regulating short-term rentals. This is a second reading and for vote tonight. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the city adopted ordinance 24-02 on February 15th of 2024, and whereas the Planning and Zoning Board has made recommended amendments to the existing short-term rental ordinance, and now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, that, and in summary, Mayor,
Yes, sir.
you'll see that the definitions section has been changed to include further stricter definitions as to what is not allowed as a short-term rental: RVs, tents, garages, boats, other non-dwelling spaces. You'll see zoning is also addressed, and spacing between short-term rentals of not less than 500 feet. You will see annual registration and inspections included, and then parking requirements were as well included for 1.5 vehicles per bedroom. A fee was initiated, a registration fee of $500, a one-time registration fee, and then a yearly reoccurring renewal fee of $150. And then, again, it addresses testing or inspections. Also included is a provision that all deed restrictions and restrictive covenants or homeowners association regulations shall supersede this ordinance. So this is not to affect any of those deed restrictions. Those are enforceable, and you will not be able to get licensed if the city knows that it is a restricted neighborhood. And that is, it also adds to enforcement, just stating that there will be liens placed on the property and business licenses revoked, and you are subjected to an audit if you do not follow the ordinance. And this ordinance shall be effective immediately upon enactment by the Board of Commissioners following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. You've heard a summary of Ordinance 24-24 for the second reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor now for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Anything you want to add, Mr. Attorney, Mr. City Manager? Anything needs to be added at this time?
Mayor, if I may,
Yes,
I have some
Commissioner
things that
Cole.
I would like to share. Short-term rentals, sometimes they're called Airbnb, different online platforms that people refer to them as. We have kind of discussed this quite a bit over the last year, and our Planning and Zoning Commission has too. I have a great deal of respect for our Planning and Zoning Commission, And this is a relatively new topic. You know, if we were sitting here 20 years ago, we probably wouldn't be talking about Airbnb and short-term rental. So it's a relatively new topic. And so I think it's only logical that we've kind of struggled with it a little bit. We did pass an ordinance, I think, did you say back in February? So the city of Richmond did pass an ordinance for short-term rentals back in February. And now we are at the point where I guess there's some discussion, conversation going on about do we need to modify that ordinance that we passed. So it's a lot of information. You know, I kind of said that at the beginning. It's a lot to figure out zoning and procedures, and it comes down to a compliance issue as well, because whatever ordinance we pass, we are responsible for the compliance of that ordinance. It's a lot of information, and there's some wording in here that I still have some questions about. When we pass an ordinance, business owners and individual owners kind of wrap their business model around the ordinance that we pass, which is what I would do if I were a business owner. So when we make changes, we have to be very cognizant of the impact that that has upon our community. So I'm still researching this. I still have some questions about it. There's some of the language that I hope we can change a little bit. I come from a compliance background, and one of the things in it that I definitely want to talk about is half of a vehicle, because I would probably define a half of a vehicle different than maybe Jim would define half of a vehicle. And so when it comes to compliance, some of those issues like that in terminology become very important. So I know we can figure this out, and I know that there probably are some changes that are needed, but at this point in time, I would like to make a motion that we table this ordinance until we can work on it a little bit more.
Can we still go ahead and ask questions while we have a motion on the table?
Well,
Or,
since I've not heard a second to her motion to table, we'll continue with the discussion.
okay, I have a couple, if that's all right. I have a couple of questions that go along with her, with Ms. Cole. When we set a fee of like $500 and stuff, and I say stuff because that's a lot of cash. And then we have another fee of $150 per year. Is that, in my book, that's a lot of money. And if we were going to talk about having these Airbnbs or short-term rentals, however you want to call them, I look for the fee to be a little bit shorter than that short-term rental. $500 is, to me, is a lot of money. And I had marked down 1.5 vehicles. I don't,
Know exactly
I
what
mean,
that
I
means.
wrecked one time and had a half vehicle in it, but I
You
don't
see-
know
if you
what
see
a half
mine, you'll-
vehicle is.
You see my vehicle, it's
Yeah.
half.
Half a vehicle.
You know what I'm saying? So if we're gonna say one bedroom gets 1.5 car, then it should be just 2 cars. That's what you're saying, right? And then there's some compliance issues in here that I don't, that I feel like we should talk as a commission first before we pass it.
You mean
If
perhaps
I'm
in a
off
workshop
base for,
setting?
yes,
What do you mean?
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, wouldn't that suit you if we talked about this in a workshop instead of?
I had a call from a
Yes.
real estate person that had some legitimate questions that I don't really understand because I'm not in real estate. But I think that more conversation would definitely be warranted, and I would second that motion as well.
Does
But go
that mean
ahead.
we have to
No,
stop?
you can still. I'm sorry.
Does the short-term rental, when you're talking about, and this is something that would probably strike people being angry, but if you're going to do these short-term rentals and their compliance is important, but if they break those rules in a neighborhood where there's kids and, and other family members and all these other houses and stuff in there, they should be held accountable, just like you would if, Well, I don't even know if there is anything to compare to that because it's our first deal with short-term rentals and putting compliance on. But I don't want them to put 2 or 3 short-term rentals in a neighborhood. And I know you said they're 500 feet apart, right? Is that correct? They can be, but
That
if
is
you take the
proposed in the-
distance of 500 feet, that's really not a lot of area. It shortens up for a
Commissioner
short-term
Brewer
rental.
and the rest of the commission, if you will suffer, I will ask Dr. Miller, who is Vice Chair, Planning and Zoning, come if you will, just and kind of give us, just briefly, because we have the, I believe,
We had a lot of discussion with this, and one of the reasons was because it's something new. It really is.
Yes.
So we took things from Lexington, we took things from other cities, and a lot of the points you brought up are good. They are very
and
good.
I'm looking at your discussion here from your meeting. Thank you.
One of the things about the money, though,
Thank you.
and I had problems with that too in a way, was because I thought that there was a fair amount of money.
Would we give one of those to the clerk, Dr. Miller? Dr. Miller, excuse me, would you please give one to the clerk? And if you got any extras, give one to the attorney also, please.
A copy?
A copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had trouble with that too. So, but we decided that when you started with the rentals, and you were going to do that, then you were doing a business, okay? That was going to require a lot of monitoring. And if you look on there, all the organizations that have to monitor it, have to be aware. The person that's going to have the short-term rentals, they have to be 24/7 available. The police have to be somebody to call. That's exactly what you're talking about, has to have somebody to call. We didn't let them sublet. That was one of the things that was on there. And they wanted to talk about people that rented a home, subletting that and not having their property, not being their property. And we thought that would lead to a lot of problems. So we didn't allow that. So it's only the property owner that can do this, okay? He can only rent this out. It's only the property owner. So anyway, we went over this with workshop. We did all kinds of changes, et cetera. 500 feet you talked about. Lexington has 1,000 feet. But, you know, I don't know how many people are going to be involved. But right now, Kevin Causey, the head of Planning and Zoning, said that we have like 30 in the community now that are doing things like this. So if we do this, we could have quite a few people. And if we've got to go ahead and visit all those people, I mean, you got to make sure they're in compliance with, you know, the place is not a mess. You've got to make sure there's not a fire hazard. And they've got to inspect all this. And $150 a year does not seem like a lot. The $500, but he said that's about what it costs, it's going to cost. So we went along with him because of that. For better or for worse, we went along with it. But you might actually get him at your workshop to come down there and tell you how much you really, if it is 500, which he told us, or maybe you could do it a little cheaper. Did you have any questions about this? Using some language.
Well, Dr. Miller, I think, if you don't mind, Mayor,
Go ahead, yeah.
maybe you guys could come to the workshop that we're talking about doing, explain some of these compliance issues to us that you all did in your meeting, and let us look at it. I'm not opposed to short-term rentals, but I am opposed to them, like you already said, we got 30. So if we don't put some kind of limitation on this, then we're gonna have more and more and more. But we need to know the backside of this, how much compliance issues that maybe we want to add something to it, is where I'm going with this.
Then,
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
with no disrespect to the
No.
No.
actual chair of
No,
the Planning and Zoning,
absolutely
he's here. Dr. Miller requested to say something. We may, I believe, Mr. City Manager, excuse me, but I really, guide me if you will, but I think it might be good, perhaps since this is a new issue, to have a joint work session.
That's what I was going
Howard,
to recommend.
That's a
yes,
great idea.
A joint work
Yeah,
session
we
where
can
we can
do
just
that
talk
legally.
about it and then the finished product, I think, would be acceptable.
I like that.
That would be much better, much
Yes.
easier on
Well, I
all
think
of
it's a
us.
good
Yes,
if we all
rather than
work
force the
together.
issue
I
right
think we
now.
ought to do that
Yes.
more often, actually.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's a great idea.
Because occasionally, some of these ordinances, not just ordinance, but zone changes, we go into a lot of things on this, and sometimes I don't know if you get all the feedback on it, you know? Because we'll sit there for hours sometimes.
Sure.
So anytime y'all want to have a meeting with us, we'd be glad to come
Okay.
down and talk with you about it.
We'll get
But
with the
it would
clerk
help
and the
us.
city manager and the attorney and the commission and the members of your commission and set up a work session joint for the two boards. In the interest of time, then in light of this, now Commissioner Cole, if you wish, please, to continue with that. Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Miller.
Yes, I stand by my motion to ask to table this conversation and to table this ordinance.
Is there a second?
Yes, I would
All right.
second.
Commissioner Goble. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yeah,
Commissioner Cole?
Yes?
Commissioner Goble?
Yes,
Mayor White?
Yes, thank you. Thanks to all of you. Ordinance 24-26, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the city's development ordinance relating to planned urban development. This is a second reading also. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the Planning and Zoning Board has recommended to the City Commission that houses of worship be permitted in PUD zoning, and whereas the Board of Commissioners finds it to be in the public interest that houses of worship be permissible in PUD zoning, now therefore be it ordained that the city's development ordinance be and hereby is modified in the particulars set forth below. Houses of worship, PUD zoning, permissible. This ordinance shall be effective immediately upon enactment following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 24-26, and this is a second reading. May we have, please, a motion, bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
second.
Commissioner Brewer this time. Is there any discussion? I think pretty self-explanatory.
Sure.
Everybody fine? All right. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
yes,
Commissioner Cole?
Yes?
Commissioner Goble?
Yes,
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-27, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the city's development ordinance relating to short-term rental zoning. This is again a second reading. Mr. Attorney, please.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
This is all part of the exact same discussion and the facts that were
Yes.
tabled of the previous. So it may
right.
be in best order to table this as well.
All right, may we have a motion, please, that we will table ordinance 24-27.
So moved. Yes.
Second.
Commissioner Cole, Commissioner Newby. Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
yes,
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-28, an ordinance of the City of Richmond amending the annual budget for the City of Richmond for the fiscal year 2025, estimating revenues and resources and appropriating funds for the operations of city government. This too is a second reading. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas a budget proposal has been prepared and delivered by the City Commission, and whereas the City Commission has reviewed the budget proposal and necessary modifications have been completed as recommended, now therefore be ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the annual budget for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025 is hereby presented as follows. American Rescue Funds. Estimated fund balance carried forward, $2,316,294. Total resources for appropriation, $2,316,294. Total appropriations, $2,316,294. The amended ARPA 2025 fiscal year budget is hereby approved as submitted. The amount budgeted above is hereby appropriated to the accounts indicated for the 2025 fiscal year budget. The city clerk is hereby directed to publish a copy of the amended ARPA 2025 fiscal year budget ordinance in accordance with KRS 424240. The ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon second reading and adoption and publication by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 24-28. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? Mr. City Manager, you want to mention any
Mayor,
modifications,
Commissioners, if I
please?
may, this will be our final budget amendment to the ARPA funds that have to be earmarked by December 31st of this year. So we went through all these changes, everybody was in agreement, and we'll move forward with getting this stuff contracted by the end of the year.
We've already done this. We've already discussed this once before, right?
Yeah, we have.
All right, any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-29, an ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending the city's development ordinance relating to street lighting regulations. This is a second reading also. For vote, Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the city's Planning and Zoning Board was asked to consider regulations for the placement of streetlights in new developments, and whereas the city's Planning and Zoning Commission has recommended the hereto attached regulations after careful consideration and recommendation from the city's Planning and Zoning Department, and whereas the Board of Commissioners finds it to be in the public interest that the recommendations of the Planning and Zoning Commission in these regards be enacted, now therefore be it ordained that the city's development ordinance be and hereby is modified in the particulars noted in this, attached to this ordinance, and the same are incorporated in this ordinance as though here set forth in full. And in summary, Mayor, you will see that the streetlights are not to be, they're supposed to be approximately 250 feet apart, not to exceed 300 feet, and not to be less than 200 feet apart. And it is all supposed to be put into the design phase, so a plan is to be submitted to Planning and Zoning for their approval. This ordinance comes because the utility had originally done all of these, and they are no longer participating in that. So we are coming up with the regulations that are meeting standards from other cities.
Just a question, Mr. Attorney. You said no longer participating. Why, is there a private contractor or someone else who's
Well,
or the
before
developer?
the utility was actually laying out where the streetlights were. They are no longer going to be doing that per their policies. So it's now on the city to come up with regulations as to
I
where
follow
they need to
now.
be
Thank
placed.
you. Thank you for clarifying that. We have ordinance 24-29. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? This is second reading. There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Ordinance 24-30. Ordinance of the City of Richmond, Kentucky, amending ordinance 23-27. This is a first reading. Mr. City Manager, please.
Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the City of Richmond adopted ordinance number 2327 on August 22nd, 2023, which authorized the issuance of the city's general obligation bonds to finance the cost to acquire, construct, and equip the Richmond Regional Sports Complex. Whereas the city issued its general obligation bond, Series 2023, on October 5th, 2023, the proceeds of which bonds have been utilized for the project. Whereas the Board of Commissioners adopted ordinance number 2423 on September 10th, 2024, which amended the definition of the project in the ordinance number 2327 to include additional capital projects, including but not limited to renovation of fields for Little League Baseball, improvements to irrigation system at Gibson Bay Golf Course, and acquisition and construction of new police station for the city. And whereas in light of the additional capital projects referenced in previous paragraph and having received bids for Phase 2 of the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, the city would like to increase the authorized principal amount of bonds in ordinance number 2327 from $60 million to $80 million. Now therefore be ordained by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners as follows. And if I'll summarize, this is the bonding authority's language to make that increase amount in the ordinance from $60 million to $80 million. The ordinance shall be effective immediately upon the ordinance shall be effective immediately upon its enactment by the Board of Commissioners following second reading and publication in accordance with the requirements of applicable Kentucky law.
Thank you, sir. That's ordinance 24-30, and this is a first reading. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Mr. City Manager, anything else you want to mention,
Yeah,
please?
what I want to point out to the board is when we started this Richmond Regional Sports Complex project a little over 3 years ago, the engineering estimate at that time was right at $60 million. With the inflation and the costs we've seen, really, it's not going to be that much over budget, closer to 65 to 68 million. What we've done is increase this bonding authority to allow us to go ahead and do the police station and the Gibson Bay Golf irrigation as well, so we don't have to come back and ask for that again.
Not so much that the sports complex is going to that extent, but rather that we can include some of the other things we had already discussed and already approved to
That's correct,
Super.
because we'll be ready to put the police station drawings on the market probably March for bidders. So that's exciting.
that it is. Any further discussion?
I just had a question.
Yes.
If we needed to change the title of that order, because it specifically says that it's just for the Richmond Regional Sports Complex, and what you just described and was a much bigger description. So I would be more comfortable if we could change that title to reflect the accuracy of what it's really for.
I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, I think we can do that, and it does say down
Where
in the
where was that,
language.
Commissioner?
I was just on the title. It
Oh,
says it's just for the
title.
Richmond
Yeah.
Regional Sports Complex, but it's for more. So I would just, so that it's, more clear, if it's specified, yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, thank you. We'll have that ready for our next meeting. Order 24-163, order of the City of Richmond awarding a Phase 2 construction bid for the Richmond Regional Sports Complex project. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond has advertised and accepted bids for installation of the park fields, courts, buildings, pavilions, sidewalks, playgrounds, paved trails, installation of lighting, dog park, and accessories of the site. And whereas 2 bids were received and 1 proposal which met all specifications has been determined to be the best. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the Richmond Regional Sports Complex Contract 604-24-02, Division A, is awarded to Rising Sun Developing Company of Lexington, Kentucky for the total amount of $38,325,000. Funding for the project will also be allocated out of the Sports Complex Fund. The submitted bid is hereby attached to the order. This order shall take effect upon reading and passage by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is order 24-163. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Is there any discussion?
Mayor, if I
Anything you want?
may,
Yes, sir, please.
I would just say that this is the recommendation from our engineering company, Bell Engineering. The cost is very well in line, and we currently are on schedule to have the project done in spring of '26. God willing, with the weather, hopefully we'll stay with that schedule, so everything's a go. And I will say, too,
Yes, sir.
that Bell Engineering vetted references with this company as well to do this project.
All right. Any other discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. The next item on the agenda is a ceremonial order. I will give the explanation as I have received it, and it makes all the sense in the world. Ordinarily, as you notice, it addresses a resignation by an employee. I've asked jokingly in some of our meetings when there is a resignation, and we don't want that person to resign, what happens if we all vote no? Well, this takes care of that. So it takes care of that. This is ceremonial order 24-164. Order of the City of Richmond accepting a resignation by an employee in the fire department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas Derek Hahn in the fire department has submitted his resignation notice to the city, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners accepts the resignation of Mr. Hahn from the fire department effective October 25th. The Board of Commissioners would like to thank him for his service since 2008. This order shall become effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-164. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Goebel. Is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goebel,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-165, an order of the City of Richmond hiring police officers. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the City of Richmond is in need of police officers to meet the needs of citizens of Richmond, and whereas a recommendation for hiring has been made by Police Chief Richardson. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that, one, the following individuals are hired as new police officers for the City of Richmond, contingent on satisfactory completion of all requisite background checks effective at such time that they report to the Department of Criminal Justice Training at a rate of based on fiscal year budget 24-25 police pay scale, pay grade 4, effective November 18, 2024. These individuals will complete a 20-week training course at the DOCJT when slots become available, and will serve a one-year probationary period for, 18 months. Reese Sexton, Logan Connor, John Runyon. 2, the following individuals are hired as senior police officers for the City of Richmond, contingent on satisfactory completion of all requisite background checks based on the fiscal year budget 24-25 pay scale, pay grade 4. Robert Smith, effective January 6 of 2025. Clint Pace, effective November 18th, 2024. Kimberly McMahon, effective November 18th, 2024. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is Order 24-165. Maybe first we have a motion to bring to the floor for discussion and approval.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole,
Second.
Commissioner Newby, I'll stay on this side. Just one thing, Chief, are any of these persons present tonight?
They all are, sir.
Oh, wonderful.
Stand up.
May we see who you are, if you don't mind standing?
Thank you, I'll introduce them for you.
Thank you, Chief. Yes,
All
sir.
this talk of the new police department got me excited back there, and I forgot what I was doing. But thank you all for your support on that. We really do appreciate it. I want you to know that first. But we have 6, I think, are going to be great team members to the department. Robert Smith, if you could raise your hand. You've been in the back. Robert comes from, he's going to be a lateral transfer from EKU PD. He's got a total of 10 years' experience. He also has some experience with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office in Florida, and he's a United States Marine Corps veteran. So thank you, Mr. Smith. Kimberly McMahon. Kimberly's also a lateral transfer. She retired from the Southampton Village Police Department with 20 years' experience. She's also enlisted in the Air Force National Guard. So, Ms. McMahon. Clint Pace has a 29 years experience. He's got agencies. He's a lateral transfer from EKU, but he's worked for agencies in Kentucky and Michigan. He's also a United States Marine Corps veteran. So thank you, Mr. Pace. John Runyon and Reese Sexton and Logan Connor will all be going to the academy. They'll not be lateral transfers, but that's good. They get to participate in our pre-academy program that we'll be putting them through. But John is from Liberty, Kentucky. He has an associate's degree from Somerset Community College, and he has a daughter who attends EKU as well. So he gets to be close by. Keep an eye on her, right, John? Reese Sexton will be graduating with a bachelor's degree in business administration in December. And he's attended EKU with a full golf scholarship. So welcome, Reese. And Logan Connor, last but not least. Logan, I've known Logan and his family for quite a long time. Probably one of the first jobs I ever had was I worked for his dad with a construction company. I got to carry concrete and brick. It was fun. It taught me a lot. But Logan is, he's decided to leave the family business and come join the department and serve his community. One thing that was on his, I guess, resume is that he has he's been competing in professional bull riding. So I was like, I don't know what's more dangerous, policing or that. But we're glad to have you, Logan. Glad to have all of you. Mayor, commissioners,
Yes, sir.
that's our new team members.
What a pool. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. For those who will be attending the academy, from what I've heard, this pre-academy that this man implements out here on West Main, you probably would rather go on to the academy than to be out there with him, the things I've heard that he puts you through.
We have fun, Mayor.
Oh, perspective is the whole thing, isn't it? We have fun. Let me poll the house. Thank you, Chief, and thank you seriously for the wonderful fashion in which you bring that department along and continually make us proud. Appreciate you. All right, that was the discussion period, wasn't it?
Yep.
Okay, is there any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-166, an order of the City of Richmond hiring an inspector in the Section 8 Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Section 8 Housing Department is in need of an additional full-time Section 8 housing inspector, and whereas the position was advertised and interviews conducted, and whereas the city manager has recommended a hire for this position, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that the following individuals hired contingent upon their successful completion of the city's pre-employment requirements as the Section 8 Housing Inspector, an at-will employee for the Section 8 Housing Department, effective November 18th, pay grade 4, Angela Causey. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-166. May we have a motion, please, to bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Goble,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ceremonial order again, 24-167. An order of the City of Richmond accepting a resignation by a board member on the Section 8 Housing Board. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas David Evans on the Section 8 Housing Authority Board has submitted an early resignation, now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners accepts the resignation by David Evans on the Section 8 Housing Authority Board effective immediately. The City Board of Commissioners would like to thank him for his service since February 2024. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-167. May we have a motion, please, bring to the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Goble, second by Commissioner Brewer. Is there any discussion? Just one comment. We certainly appreciate Mr. Evans' service not only on this board, but also in years past in the capacity of city manager. And he has continued to support the work of this city. Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Ceremonial Order 24-168, an order of the City of Richmond accepting a resignation by an employee in the Section 8 Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas Lisa Broadus in the Section 8 Housing Department has submitted her resignation, and now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners accepts the resignation of Lisa Broadus in the Section 8 Department effective November 4th. This order shall become effective immediately upon adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-168, ceremonial order. May we have a motion, please, to bring the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Newby,
Second.
Commissioner Brewer, is there any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Order 24-169, order of the City of Richmond promoting an employee within the Section 8 Department. Madam Clerk, please.
Whereas the Section 8 Housing Department is in need of a full-time family self-sufficiency coordinator due to a recent resignation, and whereas the position was recently advertised and interviews conducted, and whereas there's a qualified internal employee which applied and wishes to seek the promotion, and whereas the city manager has recommended the promotion of this qualified applicant. Now therefore be it ordered by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners that Lisa Samples in the Section 8 Housing Department is promoted from Administrative Assistant 1 to Family Self-Sufficiency Coordinator 1, effective payroll November 27th. Pay grade 4, original hire date was April 10th, 2024. This order shall be in full force and effect upon reading and adoption by the Richmond City Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Order 24-169. May we have a motion, please, bring the floor for discussion and approval?
I move.
Commissioner Brewer,
Second.
Commissioner Newby. Any discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Order 24-170, order of the City of Richmond, Kentucky accepting the supplemental grant, approving the grant assistance agreement, authorizing the amendment of the City of Richmond annual budget, and authorizing a representative to sign all related documents. Mr. Attorney, please.
Whereas the Kentucky General Assembly has appropriated funds for infrastructure projects in Senate Bill 36 of the 2021 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly and in the 2022 regular session of the Kentucky General Assembly for the Cleaner Water Program. And whereas the City of Richmond, the grantee, has previously determined that it is in the public interest to acquire and construct certain facilities and improvements to the grantee's utility system, the project, and whereas the grantee desires funds from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, the authority, for the purpose of acquisition and construction of the project, and whereas in order to obtain a grant from the Cleaner Water Program for the project and administered by the authority, the grantee is required to enter into an assistance agreement with the authority. And now therefore be it ordered that the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners as follows. Section 1, the grantee hereby accepts the grant award and approves the agreement between the grantee and the authority to provide the necessary funds to the grantee for the project. Section 2, that the City of Richmond Mayor is hereby designated to the grantee's authorized official for this project and is hereby directed and empowered by the grantee to execute the agreement, related documents and agreements, and to otherwise act on behalf of the grantee to effect such grant award and to engage in as a qualified project administrator. Section 2, that the grantee hereby agrees and commits to include by amendment to its annual budget and audit process the receipts and expenditures of funds subject to the agreement up to and including the date of the project closeout. This order shall be effective immediately upon its adoption by the City of Richmond Board of Commissioners.
Thank you, sir. That's Order 24-170. May we have a motion, please, bring the floor for discussion and approval?
So moved.
Commissioner Cole
Second.
and Commissioner Goble. Is there any discussion? Just a quick question. These funds will be applied to a specific project. Is this for the park?
No, this is actually for a project that Scott has, if I'm not mistaken, right, Scott?
This is for Richmond Utilities.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you. I should know that.
We initially thought we could use the money for water, sewer, and project on the park, and really it didn't work out with the administration side of it, so we reverted it back to Richmond Utilities to use for one of their projects.
Thank
But
you,
this is
sir.
new grant money for us, right?
Yes.
That's always a good thing.
Yeah. I always smile when I see those
Yes,
numbers.
love grant money.
That's right.
Any further discussion? There being none, Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cole?
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. This is the public comments period. Is anyone here tonight who has come for the purpose of giving public comment? If you come, please, to the podium, state your name so that the clerk can record it, please, sir.
My name's Robert Fields. I live out on Goggins Lane. And recently, well, not recently, in the last couple of years, they put had a nice, beautiful cornfield and soybean fields next to my house, and all the land down toward Tates Creek that's what it was. Now, I built probably a 4,000 square foot house on 11 acres, and I've got a 400 home subdivision 30 feet from my home. I also have all the construction noise from the sports complex across the other side of Tates Creek. I was wondering if the city could do anything, or if I need to talk to the housing development people, because I never got notification that the subdivision was going in. I lived there for 4 years now, and I need a privacy fence or a sound barrier wall or something, because, I mean, obviously this construction's gonna go on for a couple, 3 more years, and I'd rather not have to have a $20,000 security system watching people from my 400 home subdivision cross the fence whenever I walk back in the house and leave my garage door open.
Are you
I was
referring
going to say,
to the,
let
I'm
me,
sorry.
no, that's all.
Go ahead.
But ordinarily, we don't address. We let folks say what they want to say without
Okay.
responding.
Well,
But I'm
this
gonna
is a
s-
learning experience
but
for
I'm
me,
gonna-
because I was
yeah,
told
I'm
to
gonna
come
suffer
here to
that.
this and
I'm going to
get-
suffer that at this
Okay.
time. Let's see here. Mr. City Manager, would you please just
Yeah,
enlighten,
absolutely.
and then perhaps
What
we can do it
subdivision are you
privately.
talking about, Robert?
It's the one between Goggins Lane and, I forget what the name of the road is there, where Hardee's is at, where the fire department's at. And the-
You mean right
Yeah,
Keeneland.
Yeah,
opposite side of the
Okay.
sewer?
yeah, opposite side of the sewer plant. There's a 400 home subdivision
Yeah,
there.
the Parkview subdivision, and you live on down Goggins, is that?
No,
right?
I live right across the fence from where that subdivision's at. My house, I mean, I can step out in my garage and look over the fence, and it's about, I don't know, 50 feet.
Have you noticed the sign? Is that Park View? Is that?
Yeah, that's it.
That's Park View? Okay.
Yeah, they're both
Now-
of them. They're two, I guess, two separate ones. I got the
I've
original.
noticed, yeah.
I got the original plan from the power company, or from somebody, and the power company come out there and asked me about taking telephone poles up, and I'm like, hey, I had to have my home surveyed by Abacus to make sure I was out of the right of way of the power lines. Well, that subdivision plan, every house in that was underneath the power lines. I asked them, hey, why you guys letting them put houses underneath the power lines when you wouldn't let me? And they're like, oh, no, we didn't. I'm like, here's the plans.
So do you live on Goggins? So
Yeah,
you're-
I got an
what-
11-acre
you're
lot. There's
real estate
4 lots
Goggins.
between, there's my lot and 3 more between me and the power
North
station.
Goggins, I think.
North.
Yeah,
North
once
Goggins.
you're going up there before you get to the roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm on the roller coaster.
Okay.
When you go up the hill, down the hill, and back up, I'm the first place you can turn in. And I built a pretty nice home out there because I'm retired from the military, retired from the railroad, and I've looked for 10 years for a piece of property outside of McKee. I live in Jackson. I can't get internet where I'm at either. I live in city limits, and it's ridiculous.
Robert, can you leave me your phone number after the meeting and let me
I can
follow
give
up
it
with
to
you
you now if you
tomorrow?
want it.
Well, I don't want you to say it out in public unless you're comfortable doing that. What
I've
it-
got 1,600 contacts on my
Okay,
phone.
what is
Took
it?
one more, 859
Okay,
582
okay.
9596.
If you wouldn't mind, let me give you a call tomorrow and we'll sort through this.
Probably better to call me Thursday.
Okay,
I
that's
go
fine.
down, I go back to where I grew up, hang out with my brothers, and I don't have cell phone service down there.
I'll call
I
you
leave
Thursday
about 8
afternoon.
I leave about 8 o'clock. I do it every Wednesday. It's like going to church, so,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Here he comes.
Lancaster Road, down by the First Christian Church. When you go down the street, where the light is, they still turning left.
Yeah, we know.
They turning left big time. What
Yes.
can you do to get a bigger sign? 'Cause The sign is up over the light, they don't see that. They need
Yeah, I
something
know,
down a
I
little
know
bit
exactly
lower,
what you're
it's
talking
bigger.
about. I've
Happens all the
mentioned it
time.
I mean, to be
Trust.
honest with you, I don't know what would stop them. I mean, I don't, other than, you know, a
Chief, can we
tank.
talk
Well-
about it? Let's talk about it, and,
A lady almost got hit the other day.
oh, I can
Yeah,
imagine.
I agree. It's,
Yes.
it's
I'm
an
wondering,
issue.
I'm wondering.
Into the bank and at the street.
I'm
Yep.
wondering if you can put something, where the light changes for them to walk across. Is there one down there?
That's-
Where it changes?
Remind me of something
No,
else.
you got the hand, then you got the male, female, what it
Kids,
is.
you know, the traffic
Yeah.
is really.
We'll
backed up there.
we'll sit down and talk about
Sit down and
that.
talk about
Yeah,
that, because
that's
she was trying to get across, and I'm like, please don't get hit.
That's an issue because years and years ago, you could do that. You know, and a lot of people now that are still around think, well, hey, and then it's a quick cut through instead of going
cut-
through.
and I-
And then when they do that, traffic, you know, is
'Cause
horrible.
I blew my horn one time,
get it,
and,
man.
well, if I'd been outside, you know, I'd had a
I
problem.
get it. It's an issue, and that's a tough one.
That could have been resolved so quickly. You see, Chief, I've been asking you for months for lights and sirens on that vehicle. If you let me have some, I'd run every one of them down. Anyone else?
Revisit the issue on 3rd Street where they are building a new soccer complex. There's not a sidewalk all the way down to Richmond Manor.
Oh, at Central.
Yes.
Down at Central, yes.
Yes, there's not a sidewalk on 3rd Street all the way down there. That's the way I walk to go home. The last time I was here, my wife and I mentioned it. Well, since then, my wife was bit by a dog on this street and whatnot. So what do we do about a
That's two
sidewalk?
issues then.
Sir?
I said, that's two issues then.
Yeah.
This is not putting you off, Lawrence.
Yes, sir.
We have a sidewalk project underway.
Yes,
What has
sir.
happened, let me speak, I don't know if there's anybody here older than I am, but over the years,
Yes,
and
sir.
what we're seeing really profoundly now, Richmond is growing, and
Oh,
that
yes.
used to be in the country. I mean, when you'd go down that way, so a lot of our streets now that were once country roads have not yet been adapted to our growth. There is a sidewalk project underway.
That's not an excuse, that's a reason, because years
yeah,
ago,
yeah,
I mean, I grew
yeah,
up here, and that
yeah.
was,
Yeah, 'cause,
it didn't require
I was
one.
told there was a dead-end street at one time.
yeah.
So-
That's it,
so
yeah.
I understand.
But we're on it, okay? We're on it. I don't,
Yeah.
and if there's
That's
some
what the
other
man
way,
told us last- that's what he said.
and if
They're
there's
on
some way that we can maybe temporarily approach it, let us talk about it, okay? Let's and just see. But thank you
No
for keeping
problem.
in front of us.
But it's deserving.
Thank
It is.
you.
All right.
Yeah, if you don't believe we're growing, you just go down try to go down the bypass. Used to be Friday afternoons, be difficult around 3, 4, 5 o'clock. Now it's every day. Every day. And that's, a gentleman approached me about 3 weeks ago. I don't know if I told you, Tammy, but a gentleman approached me and said, Richmond's growing too much. I thought, okay. If you've seen the movie National Lampoon's Vacation, and when the Griswolds got to the park and the park was closed, maybe we can hire some more park rangers or officers who will stand at the exits and ramps that come into Richmond and say, you can't come in. Phew, I got that out. I'm sorry, Tammy. I'm sorry. I mean, what do you do? And that's a good thing. I mean, we're growing, and we're trying to, to work with it, but that's one of the growing pains. All right, let's see here. Anyone else? Public, we're doing pretty good like I started talking, weren't we? All right, then, Mr. City Manager, please.
I just have one item tonight. I just want to give you an update on the Men's Recovery and Workforce Development Project. We have all been through our compliance training, and we are about to nail down an advertisement time and date for the architecture and engineering services. So once we get that nailed down, there'll be a mandatory site visit for those firms that want to participate, and then we'll get bids and come to you all for approval. So it's moving along.
Thank you so much, sir, for the work, the tremendous work that's been done, that you've led to come to this point? The whole state knows we received that $4.7 million.
Bluegrass Area Development District, Grayson Evans, and the Fletcher Group, myself, it's been a 3-year run getting
Yes,
to this
sir.
point. So
Yes, sir.
finally good to see, we can see some results.
Yes.
Yep.
And for those that may not know, this is more new grant money, correct?
That's right,
That's right.
$4.7 million
Yes,
from the
Yes,
feds
very exciting.
for a men's rehab center and workforce development.
Awesome.
All right.
That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, sir. Before we have the commissioners' discussion, I believe we have our new business president. Come on, Carrie. Carrie
Good evening.
Hensley.
I'm Carrie Lee Hensley, your Small Business and Economic Development Coordinator. And with me, I've got Amber Johnson, and she just opened the business AJ Creates It. So she's going to tell you a little bit about what kind of products she has. So, Amber?
Hi, my name's Amber Johnson, and my business is AJ Creates It. It is at 116 East Main Street. I make artisan soaps and other skincare products. I also make engraved signs, like laser engraved signs, and earrings and jewelry and stuff, and wreaths and tumblers and T-shirts. So, yes, that's about it.
And what's your hours? Business hours?
I'll be open Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5, and Friday and Saturday from 10 to 7.
Thank you.
Deal.
Welcome aboard.
Picture. Okay. We know the routine. We're trained.
So we don't. We don't. Thank you. Yes, indeed. For those who picked up a copy of the agenda, when I mentioned that was the new business that was at the top of the agenda, and she was not here at the time. Commissioner Cole?
I think I'm good. Thank you.
All right, yes, indeed. Commissioner Newby?
Just one, no business, but I just want to acknowledge the passing of Laura Durham this past week. She's been battling a long battle with cancer. She was a former commissioner. The mayor and I served with her, I believe, in 2013. And her mother was also a mayor here for 3-term mayor, I believe. But she was a good friend, and I just wanted to acknowledge that, Mayor.
Thank you.
I've got a few words too.
Thank you, and let me just say this now, but she and I sat side by side when I was a commissioner on that end over there, and had some good conversations. She loved this city, and not only was her mother mayor, but her grandfather was mayor, and yeah.
She was a fireball.
Definitely. Kept things exciting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Newby. Commissioner Goebel?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
All righty. Commissioner Brewer?
Nothing, Mayor.
All righty. Let me mention a couple of things then quickly, and then we're going to ask for a motion to go into executive session. So that means that those who are here, if you wish to stay, you may. We will vacate the desk here temporarily to go next door. A couple of things. Last night, David Stipes and his wife and I represented the city of Richmond at the annual Farm City Banquet, and always a wonderful event, tremendous meal. And I did mention to David while we were there, it's the Farm City Banquet. Not sure how it was originally organized, but its intended purpose. But I hear a lot of conversation, of course, about farms and farming. And I said to David, maybe we can talk with the powers that be and talk about a little more input from cities. It's a Farm City Banquet. Also, you may have seen on the front page, thanks to Mr. Bryson back there, Williams. Thank you. Good job on the, and for the newspaper, on the new playground at Robinson Terrace. That's probably a lot more significant than you realize. Bechtel Parsons, in its giving of legacy gifts, wanted to know what can we do. So I picked up their public information officer one day, and we rode the town. There were a couple of suggestions about some things that could be done for the housing authority and so on. So we rode by there, and it caught his eye. And he said, you know, that looks kind of dangerous. And I said, yes, that's why they're concerned. So Bechtel Parsons Bluegrass donated the funds to renew that that playground. So if you get a chance, just drive into Robinson Terrace, and as soon as you get in the street, there's the new playground. A couple of other features we may be able to add also, and just happy that we were able to collaborate with them in bringing that to be. The other thing is, I should come to the office and tell you this, but while it's on my mind, you know how that works. Down here at the corner in front of the paddy wagon, the walk portion of the sign, on the southwest corner, right in front of paddy wagon, if you're trying to cross to the south, that sign has been twisted somehow. So if you're waiting for the walk light, you can't see it. And not sure whether someone did that. Probably so. Just probably so.
Being silly.
Thank you. I'm not sure who does it. Is the state, or do we do that? Thank you, sir. I think it just needs a good twist, and I didn't want to, well, long story. May we have a motion, please, to go into executive session according to KRS 61.810, subsection 1, sub F, regarding personnel.
So moved.
Commissioner Cole?
Second.
Commissioner Newby? Madam Clerk, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Goble?
Yes.
Commissioner Newby?
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer?
Yes.
Mayor Blythe?
Yes, thank you. Again, if you wish to stay for the closing of the meeting, may do so. Otherwise, have a good night, and thank you for coming.
Cats play at what, 9? I'll be asleep by 9:30. You're probably right.
Ah, good show, good show, good show.
Yeah. Hey, don't, I go to bed at like 6:30, so never call me past 6:30.
Shove a Geritol and-
Yeah. I don't know if Geritol, it was some stronger than Geritol.
Okay.
Okay, all righty. May we have a motion, please, that we'll return from executive session to regular session?
I move.
Second.
All right, Commissioner Newby, Commissioner Cole.
Commissioner Goble,
Yes.
Commissioner Newby,
Yes.
Commissioner Brewer, Commissioner Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Is there any other business at this time? All hearts and minds are clear. All right. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So
I move.
moved.
Second.
I'll just
Somebody
pick somebody.
anxious?
Yeah, I'll take it, yeah.
Extras.
Cole.
Madam Clerk, please.
Commissioner Newby.
I mean, what
Yes.
the heck?
Commissioner Brewer. Commissioner Cole. Commissioner Goble.
Yes.
Mayor Blythe.
Yes, thank you. Anybody, yeah, that's the end of our meeting. If there's someone who needed to see someone,